Excellent. Jeff Levering from Brewers Fantasy Camp in Phoenix. How are you, sir?
Sore, but I'm doing great.
Oh, okay, good. Well, we are all here. And yes, very funny bite from Seinfeld back in the day. Game last night was a good, crisp college basketball game that just didn't go the way of the Badgers. Butchie, where was the game lost, in your opinion?
Yeah, it was turnovers really in the second half. Well, let's start here. And I don't say this a whole lot, but the intentional foul at the end of the half was it was a terrible call.
Horse
I mean, the
worst.
The officials, the Badgers had a foul to give again. And I think just in general, I don't think the officiating was horrible in the second half. But when you look at that end of half situation, the officials are supposed to know time, score, situation. That's what they, and I mean, score more than anything on the second half of the game. But you knew the Badgers had a foul to give. You knew they purposely fouled the first one. You knew they were trying to foul one more time. So when there's initial contact, you call the first foul. Even if the guy is trying to spin away, you know what they're trying to do. That's what the officials are told to do. That was a tough point because it goes from 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So all the buffer that they had was bad because then all of a sudden to start the second half, Wisconsin comes out and they turn the ball over a couple of times. So now all of a sudden UCLA has a 6-point lead. If they don't get those extra 4 points, maybe it's an even game. Now they're going back and forth. And
all right.
So
if I may,
but a really good college game.
Levering, you can weigh in because you see this all the time calling games. What the hell's the difference between a foul to give where you know you're going to foul and an intentional foul? Aren't they intentional?
Yes, they are. They are both intentional, but as Brian said, it's the intent. It's the time and the place. And okay, we have fouls to give. We're just trying to kill some time. The intentional foul is more on okay, you have a turnover and there's a breakaway and the defender pulls the guy's shirt or slaps at him, or
I thought there was a specific category called breakaway fouls.
Yeah, but and then there's also the malicious intent of a category 1 or a category 2.
Then there's flagrant fouls.
Correct.
And there's flagrant 1, flagrant 2. Oh,
right. Those are more the intentional fouls, the flagrant 1s and the flagrant 2s. The intent, like if you're just fouling because you have a foul to give, come on, guys, what are we doing?
Butchie, the rule is there to try to prevent the games from getting out of control and too rough, right? That's why they have the severe penalty of the ball and 2 shots.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
But it was just
it was a bad call. I mean, it was. Yeah.
Who was the crew last night? What were they? A Pac-12? Well, not Pac-12. It was a Big Ten crew, right?
West Coast Big Ten
crew.
Okay. Yep, West Coast-based Big Ten crew. Now, they fly all over, the Big Ten crew does, but obviously, with games over on the West Coast a little bit more, they'll try to give them some more West Coast games to keep them there a little bit longer than when they bring them back. But it just they missed it. I mean,
the Harris boys, Vern and Nate with Jason Phillips, they're the ones officiating last night.
That was, yes, and yes, correct.
Look at me finding that.
Correct.
I don't think Vern Harris and Nate Harris are brothers, are they?
No,
just 2 guys named Harris, right?
Mm-hmm.
2 Harrises, yes.
The law firm.
Phillips.
Law firm of Harris and Phillips.
Harris Phillips, yeah.
And Phillips is fantastic, by the way. Jason Phillips is a former NBA official who used to be in the replay room. He understands. So he's got it dialed in.
They just missed it. They just missed it. Yeah.
So he went down from the NBA, or was he never a whistle in the NBA? He was a replay guy.
Oh no, he was a longtime NBA official.
Why would he step down? Just for lifestyle travel?
Yeah, he just wanted to get back on the floor. He wasn't on the floor in the NBA for the last couple of years. He was in the replay room, so he wanted to get back on the floor.
Okay. Well, anyway, I know that when I called games many moons ago, we'd always look at the refs for one thing only, and that was if we were on the road, was there a guy in the crew, Butchie, that could give us a whistle if we needed it on the road? I don't want to say he's the only honest official on the crew, but it was just to be like, okay, Clockerty, if we get fouled late on the road, he'll give it to us if he's the one on the actual action. And that's all you look for. That's all you can hope for, right? There's certain guys from experience, you're like, this guy will give us a road whistle. So,
Yeah.
No, you're 100%. You're 100% correct. Like, it's something Bo would always do too. And Bo would always know who we'd get a call from and who we wouldn't get a call from. If he knew we weren't going to get a call from a guy, he would. I felt bad for that guy because he was going to be all over him. I mean, whew.
No matter what the sport is, we always know that the best officials are the ones that we don't talk about because that means they're doing a good job.
It is.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. So, boys, I'm going to turn it over to you. What do you want to talk about this segment? Because I know, Jeff, you're out there at fantasy camp, and Butchie, you're coming home today, but not till later this morning. A leisurely departure from Westwood.
I know. I just want to get home.
I know. You missed your kids. Your wife needs the
no.
help. You missed the 5-degree weather.
No. All that is still a no, but it's just time. You can only stay in a hotel for so long. But I want to put this quarter in Jeff real quick. How does Ichiro? How is he not unanimous? How is there one guy that says he's not in the Hall of Fame? And how does the Hall of Fame voting go? Because what are we doing? What are we doing?
I mean, there's only been 1 or 2 unanimous Hall of Famers ever, and that is asinine. It's crazy. I think that, I mean, what was it, 99.7%? We were talking about this. I mean, it's funny that I can say that we were talking about it in the clubhouse yesterday because we're just a whole bunch of old has-beens playing fantasy camp, but we were watching the inductions as they were happening, and we all looked at each other and went, 99.7? Who's the clown that didn't vote for this guy? We thought that if it's a surefire Hall of Famer, what's the difference between getting a guy in his first year and he's going to go in anyway? He's going in, right? Why not make it 100%? He's in. Why do you want to be that one guy that doesn't vote for him? What's the point?
For previous guys who missed unanimous by a vote, did the one vote abstainer go public when it was all said and done?
I believe so.
Or not?
I believe so. And some of these writers just have this burr on their backside that go, no, I'm not going to vote for him just for principle. That voter should lose their vote, in my opinion.
Yes.
Because the point is to elect these people into the Hall of Fame. That's the point. That's why you have the vote. And if you're going to be the one that's just going, well, I abstained courteously, save it. Give your vote away. Give your vote away.
Well, it really says, so you don't think Ichiro Suzuki is a Hall of Famer? You're too dumb to understand baseball. Yoink. We're taking your vote away.
It just
That's
doesn't
what I
make
wish
sense.
they would do. Well, I think they do it to be self-important gatekeepers of some sort of exalted status. Like, we can't just put anybody in on the first ballot. And so we're going to be that guy.
But who
and they
remembers
suffer no
that,
repercussions.
and
Who remembers it? No
that
one.
guy's name? Who cares? Who cares? Johnny
there's
Hapsticks, you're not making a difference in the world.
They're
Sorry.
sports writers, Levering, and I know many of them who are great guys, but I know even more who are Todds, the worst.
And I can understand if there was a character flaw in any of this and you had some sort of a bad run-in or they rubbed you the wrong way and you did it just because, you know what, I don't like this guy. Fine, I get that. But from all accounts, Ichiro was an outstanding human being. He was funny. He was an amazing hitter. He was an amazing defender. One of the greats to ever play the game, not just stateside, but over in Japan. More hits than anybody's ever had over the course of a career, no matter what continent they were playing on. He should be 100% in the Hall of Fame.
Here's a fun fact about Ichiro. Back in 2001, a rumor circulated that there was a publication in Japan that was offering $1 million for a shot, Butchie, of Ichiro. A single shot of Ichiro, $1 million. When asked about it, Ichiro said, if that's true, I'll take the picture myself and take the $1 million.
Exactly right.
I love that guy.
Exactly
so
right.
What was so great about Ichiro? I mean, there was a lot of, I'm not saying it like I don't know he was great, but to you, a baseball player, the most underrated aspect of an absolute contact machine who is a sublime defender as well.
I think that I always take away is that he had such control with his bat. And if he wanted to, he could have hit 40 homers a year. He could have hit
You
30
think
homers.
so?
Oh, 100% he could.
Why didn't
100% he
he?
could. Because he didn't want to. That wasn't his game. That's not how he was going to be best suited for his team. He
Didn't want to?
didn't want to. But if you ever watched
Would it
him,
have hurt his average to try
probably,
that? Okay.
probably he wouldn't have had as many hits because maybe
Okay.
you're trying to do too much. But
Right.
he knew that his most valuable asset was to get on base, steal bases, score runs. And that's what he did. He was a contact machine.
Yeah.
One of the best, right? The best that
Full
we've ever he's right.
ninja control of that
Right.
piece of
And
hardwood.
he's a step out of the box every time he takes a cut. And he's a step out of the box. And he's flying down
Yeah.
down the first baseline. He was incredible. And let's not forget the defense that he played too. That arm, come on, man, so
Yeah.
good. I still remember that throw in Oakland in his first year where he throws out. I want to say it was Terrence Long at third base. Name out of the woodwork right there.
Terrence
I was just gonna say how, yeah.
Trying to
You're
go from
ridiculous,
first
Jeff
to
Lovering.
trying to go from first to third in Oakland, and Ichiro comes up with this dart that never got about 5 feet off the ground, just hosed him at third base. That was in his rookie year. It's like, okay, here we go.
I love it how his connection broke up right as he was doing the sound effect of the ball being thrown. Did you like that?
It was pretty good. It
Did
was
you hear that?
perfect
That was pretty
timing.
good. You didn't hear that, Jeff, on your end because it was just a rare glitch that matched up perfectly with what you were saying. On the Sabathia front, first of all, before we get to Sabathia, let's talk about Billy Wagner getting in on his 10th year in the ballot. He had fallen one vote shy last year, broke down in tears when he took the call with his lovely wife. It's the stuff of sports there. Your thoughts on Billy Wagner? We had Paul Wagner talk about it yesterday on our show, but what do you think?
Very deserving. I mean, he was really one of the first consistent 100-mile-an-hour guys. Unbelievable story where he broke his arm as a young kid. He was a right-handed thrower, learned how to throw left-handed himself, and boom, the rest is history. Was a starter to begin, becomes a closer. Division III baseball guy. You love those type of stories, and just an all American human being is from all accounts, and he could throw the heck out of a baseball. Kudos to Billy Wagner. He was dominated an era. That's a Hall of Famer.
And then on the CC front, he was here for such a brief blip in time, 3 months, but still shouted out David Risky, Mike Cameron, Bill Hall, Ricky Weeks, Prince Fielder as reasons why he felt so comfortable when he was here for 3 months.
Mhm.
And Kurt Hogue had a great stat, which is in his 17 starts with the Brewers, CC had a ERA of 1.65, and that is the best 17-game stretch by a starter in a single season in franchise history.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's amazing, and should have had a no-hitter too. We don't need to talk about that in Pittsburgh. Should have had a no-hitter.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah,
but just
But
incredible.
the complete game to drag the team into the postseason
yeah,
at the end of the road.
Yeah,
Epic.
pitching on 3 days rest in a free agent year.
Yes.
Nobody does that in today's era. Nobody would ever do that because they're looking for
Jeff-
that next contract.
Yeah. And it was such a short stint, but he had such an impact on the Brewers. That's the crazy thing about it. Like
Yeah.
Brewer, when you look at it, like Brewer fans claim him as one of theirs, and he was there for such a short time, like
3 months.
3 months. That's it. And Brewers fans like, we got one in the Hall of Fame. We got one in the Hall of Fame. It's amazing to me because, like, he embodied everything that Milwaukee was, that the state was within 3 months. I haven't seen an athlete do that. I've never have. I can't think of one that's become one with the fan as quickly as CC has. And then for any, I'm talking about not just in the state of Wisconsin. I'm not just talking baseball. I'm talking anywhere. I can't think of a guy that's done that to a fan base.
Yeah, I agree, and it speaks to him. Obviously, the results on the field and getting the team to the postseason for the first time since 1982. That is a huge part of the story. That's a huge part of the narrative. but it's also a huge credit to the people in Milwaukee. I mean, yeah, if you're great and if you embrace these fans, they're going to love you forever. And it doesn't matter who you are. You are part of the fabric of this community. If you go out there and you pour your heart out, and even if he ends up losing that game to get the Brewers into the playoffs, if he doesn't go complete game shutout, for what he did for those previous 16 starts, they would still embrace him. They would
Yeah.
still absolutely love him. But because he put the team on his back, took him to the playoffs, that makes it the stuff of legends for that short
Yeah.
amount of time.
He'll go in as a Yankee, obviously with his New York Yankee hat on. He also said that, I think it was Jeter Levering that said that talked him into playing more to make the Hall of Fame, to hit these benchmarks, that he could do it, that he was teetering on the edge of, I might just retire.
Yeah. Yeah. And then getting to 3,000 strikeouts and the 300 wins. And those are big, mile markers, big time. I love the story of him going to bat for his team too. He needs a couple of innings to go before getting in a bonus, right? And he plunks a dude in the second inning and falls short in his last start, because you know what? That's what he needed to do for his team. That's who CC Sabathia was.
Street justice needed to be delivered.
Yeah.
Statistics be damned.
That's captain right there.
So who have you plunked at fantasy camp so far?
Haven't hit anybody, but I have gone high and tight on a few unintentionally, for sure.
Nice.
I pitched in the opener. I haven't pitched since I was 14 years old. No joke. And I went 4 innings. And my dad's down here at fantasy camp with me. He's umpiring, so he had the dish for the game that I was pitching. And I bet I threw 45 pitches in that first inning. Tried to find it was terrible. And I was fine for the next 3 innings, but the arm, she's a little tired. She's tired.
Yeah.
I'm swinging it though. Having a good camp swing.
How many ruptured Achilles? How many have we had so far?
No ruptured Achilles, thankfully, but there are a lot of sore quads, a lot of sore hammies in that trainer's room.
and that's when you tell these old men and women, probably, this is what we do every day.
Yeah, that's right.
Do this every day.
That's right.
Except for a few off days.
Yeah, they need to restock the ibuprofen big. You know what they call those here in the clubhouse at fantasy camp? I be playing. There you go. Yeah, I be playing. So when are you back on the broadcast booth? What's your next game you're going to call? I have a game Monday. I have Iowa, Ohio State, and Columbus. And then I have Marquette at Butler Tuesday. Ooh. So I'm Monday, Tuesday of next week. All right. Should be sexy. Yeah. Safe travels. Careful with the arm. And we'll talk to you next week. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one. Butchie, we got Nagler next. You were sleeping when we talked about just how poorly Lion fans are taking this Ben Johnson turncoat move to go to the Bears. You know what they're calling him? Osama Ben Johnson. Hilarious. I bet Nagler has a few good laughs up his sleeve about this, because this is new territory for them. They're used to firing their assistants because they stink, if not their head coach. First time they'd be good enough to get them plucked. So we'll talk to Aaron Nagler, Cheesehead TV next. We roll on Czabe Butch in the morning on The Game.
How would you like to win $1,000?
I would enjoy that and appreciate it very much.
It's grand in your hand. Your chance to win $1,000 just by listening. Weekdays when you hear the keyword, enter it at our website, 973thegame.com.
Get ready to celebrate the songs and artists you've loved over the past year
at our 2025 iHeartRadio Music Awards.
Coming to Fox, iHeartRadio stations across America, and the new and improved iHeartRadio app.
Monday, March 17th, live from Los Angeles.
Lady Gaga will be honored with the Innovator Award.
Mariah Carey will receive the Icon Award.
And the biggest stars from all genres of music will go home winners.
Nominees include
Taylor Swift, Morgan Wallen,
SZA,
Doja Cat,
Jelly Roll,
Adele, Sabrina Carpenter,
Teddy Swims, Post Malone,
Billie Eilish,
Kendrick Lamar, Kane Brown, Linkin Park, Glorilla,
Pliny Wilson,
Green Day.
We got so many more. Our 2025 iHeartRadio Music Awards.
where you can help decide who wins in categories like Best Lyrics,
Best Music Video,
Favorite Soundtrack,
Favorite Tour Style.
Favorite Surprise Guest, and more.
Find a full list of nominees and start voting for your favorites now at iHeartRadio.com/awards.
Lots of stop-and-go delays right now. 894-43 eastbound Forest Home to 35th is heavy, and 94 eastbound jammed up. Highway 100 to 35th. Accident on the right shoulder. That's a huge delay. 94 westbound 16th to Mitchell Boulevard slow. 43 southbound still heavy. Silver Spring to Wright Street. If you see any issues, call the Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank, total traffic tip line at 414-944-5111. I'm Bonnie Green.
This report is sponsored by Straight Talk Wireless. Don't let data limits hold you back from being the gift master in the family group chat. Switch to Straight Talk Wireless and get real unlimited data on a reliable 5G network. Straight Talk, available at Walmart or straighttalk.com.
The Milwaukee Weight Loss Program has been able to change the lives of thousands of people with this incredible metabolic reset program. We know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day with no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no counting points or calories, no drugs, no surgery, and no injections with the risk of serious side effects. There's no better time than now to give yourself the gift of a new you this new year. The caring team at Milwaukee Weight Loss can help you thrive in 2025. Schedule your free consultation now by visiting MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
Hey guys, Billy Schmidt here with Milwaukee Weight Loss. I can speak to their program helping you reset your metabolism because when I went in, my metabolic age was that of a 90-year-old. The new you can be right around the corner in 2025, and Milwaukee Weight Loss's caring team can help you thrive in 2025. Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in the first month or two. So call for a free weight loss consultation. It's 262-433-4008. That's 262-433-4008, or visit them online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. And tell them Billy Schmidt sent you.
This message is sponsored by WisCaregiver.com. Now is the time to start a meaningful career as a caregiver. Make a real difference in people's lives. WisCaregiver.com gives you 2 great options for free. Train for the in-demand caregiver workforce as a CDCP, Certified Direct Care Professional, or become a CNA, Certified Nurse Aide. All training is free. Plus, you can earn a $500 bonus. Learn more. Visit WisCaregiver.com.
In the final edition of the Matt LaFleur podcast, we discuss his conversation about Keyshawn Nixon's controversial comments, which player he thinks has superstar potential after their rookie season, and what he needs to do to be better for quarterback Jordan Love. Download the Matt LaFleur podcast now on the iHeartRadio app and wherever you get your podcasts.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes.
Rinse it out. Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out.
Oh, Downy in the rinse straight.
Every now and then I rinse it out. One wash and it delivers. One wash, it smells so clean. Downy Rinse and Refresh, it's a dream.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Fights odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
Grab the contest rules for 97.3 The Game at thegamemke.com.
The Fox 6 weather experts are presented by AdventKnows.com.
Still cold out there, but not quite as cold as yesterday. High near 22. Chance for some light snow showers. Could see around an inch in a few spots. Overnight tonight, cloudy and 12. Then some sunshine and 20 tomorrow. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get 60% off. Free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
Coming up Wednesday on No BS with Billy and Sari, and we'll talk about the head coaching hires across the NFL with the voice of the Green Bay Packers, Wayne Larrabee, after 10 o'clock. One of our favorite Wisconsin sports radio villains joins us at 10:40, plus a parlay of the day with the Potawatomi Sportsbook at 11. It's No BS with Billy and Sari, and Wednesday after Czabe Butch.
Of Chicago.
No, I'm not. He's in the way now. But for you to get in like your feelings because he took $75 million plus dollars from somebody,
it's not that he took it from somebody.
That's irrational,
he took it
dude.
From the Bears.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's irrational, and he's in the way now.
It is irrational. It's sports. It's a rivalry.
Because I think my team is still good, Spenny.
So
I'm not scared of him leaving.
Nobody's saying that, but it's still him.
Why are you getting all worked up about it?
Neil,
why are you getting worked up?
A rivalry.
Okay, I understand that. But if your team is good, what are you scared of?
I'm not scared of
you
anything.
Sound like you're scared.
But it's fuck him. No, you're just twisting narratives and making shit up.
Oh, like you are?
Fuck him. What? What am I twisting?
Oh,
what am I making up?
Osama Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
Like I can be appreciative of the stuff he did here. Can I not?
It's going great in Detroit right now, and I am so here for it. You like that one, Butchie?
That was great. That was great.
Aaron Nagler joins us now, Cheesehead TV. Nags, how you doing this morning? It's good stuff, isn't it?
I'm doing great, especially after hearing that. I woke up to that in my feed this morning, and I do have to admit a little bit. It does kind of remind me of me and Corey when we get after it about whatever topic, like there's the one guy who's like rational and logical and like trying to look at it dispassionately, and the other dude is like F him. Like, yeah, I get that dynamic. I understand that.
I think you're more get back coach to Benke being fully militant about
it's
X,
funny.
Y, or Z.
We've talked about this. We are kind of role reversal dependent on what's happening. If it's Monday through Saturday, yeah, I'm the reserved, logical, take a look at 30,000 feet kind of view guy. And Corey's the one like rabid, like destroy it all, everyone sucks, whatever. But during the game, that completely changes.
It flips.
In the game, I am completely irrational. Everything's the worst. I am completely overboard about every single call, every single moment. And Corey's the one going, all right, calm down.
All right, calm down, relax. Yeah. All it takes is for one covering 8 feet off the line of 8 yards off the line of scrimmage on a 3rd and 3 to set you into motion. That'll do it right there.
No doubt.
Well, Aaron Nagler brought to us today by Rogers Behavioral Health, Hildebrand Law, the great taste of Miller Lite and Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference because my life is all memes these days. I love the first time meme of James Franco in a noose. If you go to knowyourmeme.com, it's from the Western Ballad of Buster
Scruggs, Coen Brothers classic.
2018 movie. Should I see that one, Nags? I've not
seen
it.
It's a group of different stories. I want to say like 3 or 4 different vignettes, and that I think is the first one. The whole thing is, or no, I think it's the second one actually, but the whole thing is worth watching. But that one in particular is hilarious.
I do love the Coen brothers.
Yes.
Oh, brother,
it's
where
excellent.
Damn, I'm in a tight spot. Damn, man. So the first time is great because Franco's about to be hung and he's looking over at the other guy terrified, saying, what, first time you've been hung? Which is sort of the joke. And so for the Lions, this is new
first
territory.
Time.
Like, I'm trying to think the last time they had assistants that were worthy of being plucked and given $13 million.
It hasn't happened. It hasn't happened in the modern era. I'll tell you that. It's not like you can go back to even when Wayne Fonts was around and they were good and going to playoff games and what have you. But even then, it wasn't like they had hot commodities as assistants. I mean, they've had assistants who have been fired, who've been picked up other places. But yeah, this whole kind of idea of we are a really premier team and our staff is sought after. That's definitely new waters that they're charting there in Detroit.
So I was explaining this gently, not mansplaining, but to my wife who was curious, not mansplaining.
No,
she was like, so how come? She said, so did the Packers lose any guys? And I said, no, except for the D-line coach.
Well, they fired one.
They fired a D-line
and they
coach.
have another one retired. Yes.
Right. But in terms of coordinators, the lieutenants, the guys that are really important, they kept them. And so
they kept them, although both of them interviewed for head coaching jobs.
I did say that. And she's like, oh, okay, well, so why is that? They weren't fired and nobody grabbed them. I said, well, we're like in the Goldilocks zone where our porridge is just right. We were good, could be better, but not bad enough to fire them. That sound about right to you?
That's fair, especially considering the audience and their, attempt to try and gain clarity. I think that is more than fair as a characterization.
God.
And I think that's the thing that's interesting is this group of coaches, they're trending the right way. What makes a coach the sexy coach, right? Because we've seen it. Like, is it the trick plays? Is that why Ben Johnson became the sexy coach? Because I know they were scoring a lot of points, but both of those coaches for the Lions, they are the guys right now. I mean, I read, hey, the Jets, we don't want to let Glenn walk out the door. Like, if we let him walk out the door, we're like, what makes
their fans
sexy?
their fans were on fire yesterday when that report from Schefter came out. Like, Aaron Glenn had left without a contract. Man. By the way, as an aside, can we have TikTok updates about like job interviews? We need help as a society. That's all I'm saying. But getting back on track, the fact that these guys have been not just good coaches and doing good things in Detroit with on either side of the ball. You ask about what makes them sexy. Well, you see the big numbers that they've put up against a number of different teams, and that obviously catches your eye, especially if you're an owner and you're sitting there like on Sunday watching the highlights or whatever, and they put up 50 on the Jaguars. They threw down 50 down there in Dallas, etc. That gets your attention. Who's calling those plays? Well, that's pretty surface level though. But when you go talk to your football people and well, is this guy legit? Whatever, you'll see a history of consistent production despite whatever is kind of thrown at you as a coach. If you're looking at Aaron Glenn in particular, I mean, you lost how many guys on defense this year, and you're still getting after quarterbacks, still taking the ball away, still shutting down opposing offenses. That's somebody you want on your radar and you want to talk to, because you're like, well, what's that secret sauce? What are you doing there that it doesn't matter you got 16 guys on IR. You're still coming after quarterbacks, blitzing the hell out of them, playing man coverage, and you're not getting beat more often than not. Now, obviously, I caught up to them a little bit in the divisional round, but, or on balance as a team with what they had to work with, not just this year, but kind of through their tenure, you've seen consistent production at a very high level. That's always going to get noticed, right? That's, whether they are leaders of men or whatever, that's what the interview is for. But man, that you cannot deny the work both of these guys have done with what has, been some really good squads, but the consistent production is going to get you noticed.
Well, I think that's the interesting thing to me, though, is like I bring up the name Matt Nagy because he was Ben Johnson how many years ago with Kansas City and the offense he was doing, and how did that work out, right? Like,
no doubt. Well, and that's kind of what I said.
13 million, like it's amazing that hey, we're going all in on this guy, and he's the
contract is
thing.
Interesting, right? I think what's fascinating to me is because of the fact that he turned down opportunities the last two hiring cycles, which continued to make him kind of the belle of the ball, right? The guy who literally last year, the Washington Brain Trust was in the air flying to interview him for a second time, and he pulled his name from consideration, which of course makes last weekend's results all the sweeter and more hilarious. But the idea that he couldn't be got and had unfinished business and all of these kind of factors where now the Chicago Bears, who have been historically inept for decades now, they had an opportunity to land that guy. I'm not surprised he was able to get his figure, right? Now, that said, I talked about this earlier this week on Cheesehead TV. As a Packers fan, look, I love that Bears fans are already back to we've won the offseason. Like last year, we heard all about the quarterback landing in the best possible spot for a first overall quarterback ever. Zay.
Right.
Ever. Now, we aren't even to the Super Bowl of this season yet, and this is a coach who has landed in the best possible spot for a coach ever. I just can't wait till Poles is fired at the end of next season and they hire a GM and he's landing in the best possible spot for a GM ever. Like the fact that they don't line this stuff up ever tells you why this is probably not going to work, because they're still the Bears.
Yeah. I told a Bear fan, you still have Poles and Warren there, and those guys are not going to get it done. Plus, you got an owner that is just not in step with what it takes to be a modern owner
at all.
And they just don't get it. And it's not a factor of necessarily being old or even having a woman at the top of the org chart, because we saw the speech from the Lions owner, Martha.
She's on point, man.
She's on point.
How she's operated like since that moment she came into the locker room with Dan Campbell when they had not started very well. And she gave a very public speech
where she said, "Look, she wanted to be accountable."
Yep.
When they were like 1 and 7 or something
yeah,
like
exactly.
1 and 6 out of the gate. She's like, "Look, we really believe in what we're doing. We just urge people's patience." I mean, that's something that a lot of owners don't want to do.
Would
will
never do. Ever do.
Exactly. 100%. But well, good luck to the Bears. Good luck to the Bears with their shiny new toy. And we'll see if he can unlock that quote generational talent.
It's one thing to do all that with the best, if not the best, the second best offensive line in the game. It's a whole other world when you're operating with what the Bears got on offer. Now they'll spend all offseason trying to improve their offensive line. I have zero doubt about it. But again, it's pulling the trigger. And given the track record, I ain't too worried about it.
All right. So I've talked about the draft industrial complex. Still too early for that to be ramped up. But we're now in the RIC, the rumor industrial.
Oh, nice. Very good.
Part of the off season. So there's 4 shiny objects in theory gettable out there for the Packers, but they're going to cost either money or picks. And the 4 shiny objects are in no particular order: Max Crosby, Devontae Adams, T. Higgins, and who was the 4th one that I
Myles Garrett
was
listed?
listed?
My guess.
Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
Myles Garrett. Okay. I mean, I think Myles Garrett is the least.
I love how you aren't even into this because you know none of this is going to happen. But
well, I just want to
like
size up the fantasy of it. Okay, so let's start with Garrett. I think he's the least gettable.
Correct.
Right, because he's
1
so
billion
good.
%.
Talk about generational talent. Jesus
and I don't
Christ.
think Cleveland wants to move him. I think they want to build around him. You know, he's a pie in the sky kind of. He keeps getting brought up, but I don't think Cleveland's in any hurry to get rid of him.
But if they're in a
all.
full rebuild, if they're in a full rebuild, that's when he wants out, right? I don't think Cleveland would want, but
possibly, but they've been in a rebuild his entire career. It's the Browns,
right? Max Crosby more gettable, and the Raiders are dumb, but Brady, no matter what you think of him, is not dumb.
He's shrewd.
So I think Brady being there probably keeps Max Crosby from coming.
Maybe
Higgins
I will say,
will likely be able to. Yeah, okay.
Of the 4, because I keep getting all 4 of these on my Twitter, people asking or in my chats. Of the 4, I think Crosby is the most, not going to say likely, but the more realistic of the 4. Because I do think you talk about what Brian said at the end of his presser about having to show urgency. It's time to compete for championships.
Yeah.
Man, great job in free agency last year. But if you want to tilt the scale, you're going to need blue chip field tilters. Max Crosby is 1,000% that type of player. And I do think, yes, it would probably cost, especially draft picks. I doubt that's the way they go again. I don't think any of these are likely, but if there is one where I could see some maneuverability and a possibility, it's a swing at Crosby.
What do you believe about the theory that they will not give up this year's first because they're hosting the draft?
Because it's there in Green Bay.
They got
I don't buy that for a
nothing to
second.
walk up on stage with.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right,
I don't buy that for a second.
Then T. Higgins is just a purchase, expensive one. And the question would be, can a WR2 be a WR1? Some people are firmly convinced he is and will be a WR1 when he goes somewhere. I don't know about that. And then Devontae has nostalgia wrapped up in the perhaps most gettable because he'll likely be a cap casualty. He'll also be expensive. I'm down for any of the 4. Any of the 4, although I'm the least horny for T. Higgins.
Well, it's just he can't stay on the field. Like we got can't stay on the field at home. And Christian Watson.
That's the point.
I don't need another one of those guys, and pay him a ton of money. No, thanks. I prefer my stay on the field guy on a rookie contract. Thanks.
Devontae is a green light. If you want to do that, I'm all for it. Bring him home.
I'm fine with it. But
Max
again,
Crosby,
listen to Brian. He said, I don't want guys at the end of their careers, and paying them a lot of money. I don't see that happening.
If they get Max Crosby, I'm Tom Cruise on Oprah's couch, happy, dancing up and down like this.
100%.
That's true. I will join you.
And if they were to somehow get Myles Garrett, I'd be the Vince McMahon gif going, oh!
The knocked over on your chair, no doubt. I mean, again, the Crosby thing. I don't think the Crosby thing's insane. I really don't. I mean, there's a possibility there of the 4.
God. All right.